If you have used an Atlas Throttle Lock, or if you are researching an Atlas Throttle Lock, the most common complaint is that they don't hold their position. Well, I have the ultimate slippage fix, so stick around. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. So I have been using an Atlas Throttle Lock for a couple of years now, and I've had issues with it slipping. And if you read the forums or you do research, you're going to see a lot of complaints about this slipping. Now, conceptually, I love the idea of the push button on and off, the ability to adjust my throttle even when it's engaged to maybe a new setting or a new position. But the reality is the little pads that you put on there over time, they just don't hold their position on the switch gear on your throttle side. And especially if you ride off-road and this gets dusty and dirty, it is not going to hold at all. And if you ride a bike like this, a single cylinder that has a fair amount of vibration to it, well, that vibration is going to keep it from holding its position as well. So I didn't want to quite give up on these throttle locks, and I came up with what I think will be a really good solution. So not to delay it any, I'll just get to it and show you what I've done. And if you already have an Atlas Throttle Lock that maybe you have thrown in a box somewhere, you can dig it back out and put it on and use this solution. So let's get there. One quick caveat to my solution: if fashion is more important to you than function, and you really care about how things look more than how they work, then this might not be the right solution for you. But if you're looking for something that will work and will hold your throttle in that right position, because the chances of getting an electronic cruise control is not possible, well, this will work. So let's get to it. The problem we have here is the switch gear on the throttle side. Well, this is a slick surface. And in order to get the throttle lock to fit in here and still have room so you have free throttle play and not to have it lock up, you can't put too big of a pad on here, which the rubber pads that come with it. And with those rubber pads that come with it, when you lock it, because you can't put too big of a pad, it doesn't get enough pressure on here to hold it. You would need a lot of pressure in order to keep it in that position. So just this small movement that you get from this, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's not enough to hold the position here on this slick surface. And I have tried a number of different pads. I have gone through a number of different iterations of coming up with some sort of solution to hold it in place. And that's where I have arrived at my latest solution. And that is getting grip tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a section of this grip tape, and I'm going to fit it around. I'm going to cut this around to fit around the throttle tube in the area of where my throttle lock will need to sit. And then I'll put a small thin rubber pad here. So this creates a friction surface and doesn't do any damage to the throttle switch gear. Now I had tried to put some double-sided sticky tape here with a little piece of sandpaper, but I really didn't like that solution. It held for a little while, but it actually did start slipping again. And then you're putting sandpaper on here, and it wasn't a good idea. So I've gone through a number of different iterations to try to get to the right solution, which is why I think creating this, the switch gear, as the friction surface will be the perfect thing to do. What I need to do is see where, when I turn the throttle, that's throttle all the way, where I'm going to want that to lock. So my locking surface is probably going to be somewhere in from here to about here. So I'm going to make this strip go in this area, cut it out, and then I'm just going to stick it down. I just need to slide this in. Right there, stick it down. And this grip tape has got really great adhesion to surfaces. And then I just need to put the throttle lock back on. I am installing a pad here, basically from the cabinet bumpers. It's relatively the same material, But what I'm doing is I'm not cutting it off. I'm leaving the excess on the outside. And the reason I'm doing that is to get more of a surface so that it's not just at the edge that comes out. So there's a little bit more grip there, and I'm lining it up to where it'll be basically right at the edge of the throttle tube. So I'm going to get this installed, and then we'll test it out with this pad. Throttle lock is installed, and I find these to be a bit irritating to try to get installed to get this locking mechanism with the teeth to go in and getting it at the right size. But after fiddling with it, it is in place. I think the most important thing to know is that the throttle snaps back and isn't bound up. And then if we lock it, has a little bit of slip, and then it locks in place. And that's a lot of banging. It's never going to be like that. So we'll just put it here and see that it locks there. And before, when I would do that, it would slip. Even without the engine running or anything else, it would slip. All right, throttle lock is on. It seems to be holding. The next thing we need to do is get out and test it. Maybe not today. I have done the same basic install with grip tape on my Tenere 700. I have been out, I have tested it. I haven't gone far, maybe 40, 50 miles. It does hold its place. It is winter, it is cold. So getting a lot of miles is not gonna be great. I do expect that this grip tape over time, it will wear out because it's in the same spot over and over. The sandpaper or the sand that's there to keep it off, the sand that's there that you're using to hold your throttle in place, eventually it's going to wear out. But that is something you just cut a strip, throw it in your tank bag, and then if it gets to a point where it's wearing out again, you can just take it off and put a new one on. So this is what I'm trying to do to get this throttle lock to work. I got to be honest, it worked great the first 6 or 9 months I had it, but after that, I have just never been able to get it to hold its position. This will help so that I continue to use something that I spent $125 on. I was reluctant to buy one for my T700, but I didn't really like the Keiko. I've used those before. It was about the same cost. I had familiarity with the Atlas. So I went ahead and went with that. I think on the Tenere, it's gonna work all right. If you don't already have one of these, I really would have a hard time recommending getting the Atlas Throttle Lock because of all the issues that I've had, and it is expensive. I think if you can get one of a different style, or maybe something a little less expensive, it might be worth it. If all you need is 60 seconds to make some adjustments, and then you're gonna be back using your throttle hand. So just my thoughts. Anyway, if you got to the end, I really appreciate it. If you have used an Atlas Throttle Lock yourself, leave that in the comments below on what your experience has been, and if you've had the same slippage issues. And if you have a better solution to keep this from slipping, I would love to hear it, because I know that this is a continuous problem, and this is going to be a temporary fix that I'll probably have to continue to readdress. So any idea you have, chuck that in the comments below. If you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.